Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Cozy Lifestyle with Clarissa Coward. Today's video is a cook with me barbecue sort of video. I'm going to go through the steps that I go through to prepare my meat before placing it on the grill, and I'm going to take you along with me. It's nothing big, just Tubbs and I decided to have a little barbecue for the two of us, so I decided to put together a video for you guys. So if you're interested, come on in and let's get started. So as with everyone, I'm sure we begin by begin by preparing the meat. We're having ribs and homemade hamburgers and hot dogs. My grandson was here as well, so thus the hot dogs. My first step is to go through and take this membrane off the ribs. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. But when I do, the ribs are so tender and they fall apart. It's not always easy, but it is worth it to take the time to do that. And once you get a good grip, which I'm trying to do here, it actually pulls off pretty easily. So it's not that difficult to do. And it makes a huge difference when you're preparing ribs for the grill. So once I get this off, my next steps are going to be, of course, cleaning the meat and then seasoning the meat. So now that the membrane is removed, I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands. I hate touching my seasonings and other bottles with the meat stuff on. I'm always afraid I'm going to forget to wipe them down afterwards. So you'll see me washing my hands a lot during the process. But now the next steps will be preparing the meat, which is cleaning it. I have always used vinegar. Learned that from my mom years ago. She's a Southern cook, and I guess so am I. And but I found recently a YouTuber who is an awesome cook and an awesome food prep. If you haven't found Gina, and let me make sure that I get it correctly, the name of her channel is In the Kitchen with Gina, and I'm going to leave her link below. She is so good. I so enjoy watching her prep and cook, and she's so much fun as well. But she taught me an added step, which I'm going to add to this today, which is also scrubbing the meat with salt. And I found that to be a necessary step. I hadn't done it before, but it has now been added to my arsenal when I'm cooking in the kitchen and preparing meat for the family as well. Um, what you do is after you wash it is you scrub it, you put salt on the meat, and then you scrub it clean with the salt, and then I add my vinegar, which, like I said, I've always done. But I thank you, Gina, for that extra step in preparing the meat. And like I said, if you haven't seen her her video channel yet, give it a shot. She is an excellent cook. I thoroughly enjoy watching her prepare her meals. So now we're going to go on with prepping this one. Before prepping it in the sink, I always clean the sink out and I rinse it, but I also wash it out with vinegar as well. Um, and the meat goes in. And now you'll see the step that I was telling you about. I think I'm going to start here with the salt. And I'm using kosher salt, but I guess you could use any salt that you have in the house. But kosher salt I like because, well, it's not as heavily seasoned, I guess. So, and it's just an added step process of just scrubbing the meat as you see me doing here with the salt. There's so many different additives and things added to our food these days to either grow it or to keep it from going bad easily, that you kind of want to get that stuff off before you feed your family. And as an added note here, I use the vinegar on my veggies and my fruit as well. It doesn't really leave a taste. I don't taste it at all, but I make sure that I scrub most things before we ingest. So now I'm going to clean it with the salt, and then next I'll add the vinegar. And here the meat is all cleaned and ready for seasoning, and I am going to let it saute for a bit in the refrigerator when I'm done. So that's what you'll see me doing here. I will add additional vinegar to this when I allow it to saute in the refrigerator for about, let's say, I usually like to do it overnight, but for this particular case, because this came up abruptly, we decided to do this. It was so pretty out today. I'll let it sit in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. So of course I'm using my regular seasoned salt, and I'm using a little garlic powder here as well. Of course there will be black pepper added, and a little Italian seasoning. So after getting ribs and hot dogs into the fridge so that they can marinate, I'm now going to make the hamburgers. So I'm pulling all of the hamburger meat apart, and I'm going to add Lipton, the dry Lipton onion soup mix. That makes the hamburgers so juicy, and I always add that when I'm making my homemade hamburgers. I also like to make them a pretty good size. You know, you want more meat than bun, and when you make your own, you get the chance to do that. So that's what we're about to do. Season and get our hamburgers ready for the grill as well. And guys, this technique is just as good if you're using ground turkey. And a lot of times I either use ground turkey or I combine the two. But like I said, today was spur of the moment and I didn't have any ground turkey in the house. So that's why we're using total hamburger. It is, I believe, I should have let you look at the pack, but I believe it's 80-20. 80% ground beef and 20% of the fat. So food was prepped and kitchen cleaned up, and here are the ribs and the burgers on the grill. Um, they look really tasty, and I must admit they were. We did a pretty good job for a quick throw together barbecue. I'm also going to show you here in some photos our sides as well. But guys, I hope that this has helped you a bit when you're preparing for a barbecue. I prefer to prepare a day in advance, but this time I didn't have it. So I also threw together some stir-fry cabbage where I add bell peppers and onions and stir fry in almond oil on top of the stove. I made rice, yellow rice, and string beans with new potatoes. So everything came out good. The meat was very, very tasty, actually, even though I prefer, as I said before, to saute overnight. So, guys, that's what we did with our Saturday afternoon, and that was our meal. Prepared quickly and on the spur, but it came out really, really well. So, with that said, I'm going to show you some pictures of the completed meal and maybe I'll come back and do a video of the stir fry cabbage. I love it this way instead of in a pot boiled. It comes out just sort of crunchy. And I use the olive oil, the clear that doesn't, I'm sorry, the coconut oil that's clear and doesn't have the coconut flavor. And so this is what we ended up with on a quick Saturday afternoon. I hope the video was enjoyable to you. It was fun pulling together. I always love doing that for you guys. And if you're not already a member of the Cozy Lifestylers group, I hope that you will subscribe below. And once you subscribe, also hit the little bell so that you'll be notified of upcoming videos. Guys, and for my lifers, my lifestylers, you guys know how I feel about you. I love you, I love you, I love you. I want you guys to comment, subscribe, like, and share. Commenting is very important. I love hearing from you guys. I love the connection that we get when we talk back and forth to each other. And with that said, I'm going to leave you as I always do with hugs and blessings. And I'm going to remind you to find and remain in your own personal element. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye, guys.